Let's begin by coming to the center of our mat, finding a nice, easy, comfortable seated position. Bring our eyes to a close so we can just begin by connecting to our breath and focusing on the present moment. How are you feeling today? And just finding a couple more breaths in your own time. Deeply inhaling, exhaling, slowly starting to flutter your eyes open, getting used to the light in the room, coming back to this moment, and beginning to move back into a nice child's pose. You can either have your knees open like I do, since we're focusing on hips and hamstrings, or you can keep your knees underneath your ribs to send it a bit more into your back. Just finding your breath here, releasing. This is just the beginning. And taking one more last round of breath. On your next inhale, we're slowly going to rise up, finding our neutral tabletop position, proper alignment. On your next inhale again, we're going to start tilting the pelvis upwards, rising up, opening the chest, exhaling, tucking the pelvis, chin to chest. Again, open the chest on the inhale, exhale, tucking the chin. And 3, open the chest on the inhale, exhaling, tucking the chin. 4, inhaling, open the chest, exhaling, tucking, and one more round. Inhaling, open the chest, exhaling, chin to chest, and then pulling back into our first downward dog, pedaling it out. Go ahead and use this first downward dog as well to just check in with what's going on with your body. Do you have any tension anywhere? What feels tight, so that you can try to send your breath to those areas. Since this is the first downward dog, you can go ahead and bend your knees how much ever you want, since we're just getting started. And starting to rise up through the right leg on the inhale, keeping our hips centered. Exhale, bending through the knee and doing some hip circles for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, extend, exhaling, leg down. Next, inhale for the other side. Inhaling up. Exhale. Bending through the knee and the hip circles for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, extend, really stretching through, exhaling, feet down together to downward dog. Bending the knees, looking to the hands, step forward in between, and just coming to a nice, easy ragdoll. Keeping your knees bent, really gentle here. Breathing. Slightly side to side. Maybe giving your legs a bend and a straighten. Slowly release the hands. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, rising up. Looking at your hands together. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a couple breaths here for yourself. Inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to your version halfway lift. Exhale, pressing back, plank, knees down, chest, chin. Inhale, sliding through to a mini cobra. Exhaling, pushing back, downward facing dog. Finding your breath and just holding here. We're going to do that sequence 2 more times. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, stepping forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, hands to center. Inhale, hands up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling to your version of a halfway lift, either on your thighs, your shins, or your hands on the ground. Exhaling to plank. Knees down. Chest, chin. Inhaling, sliding through to cobra. Exhale, pulling back, downward facing dog. Couple breaths here before we do 1 more round. And just finding your breath again in downward facing dog. Inhaling, stepping forward to halfway lift. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, all the way down. Inhaling, halfway lift, hands on your thighs, your shins, or on the ground. Exhaling, stepping back to plank. Inhale, knees down. Exhaling, chest, chin. Inhaling, sliding through the cobra. Exhale, pushing back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. See what feels different. Go ahead and try pedaling out your feet a little bit before we move on. Inhale, look forward, stepping forward. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead, hands together. Exhaling to heart center. Every now and again we need to fidget, readjust. It's alright if that happens for you. I know it does for me. On our inhale, going to rise up with the right leg. On the next exhale, going to cross our ankle over our knee and squat down, really feeling a burn into the outer side of our right hip. Engaging the core, keeping our hands at heart center, finding a point to focus on in front of you. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhaling, extending back into a warrior 3 and holding strong here. You can extend your arms backwards for a little bit of challenge, or hands overhead for even more challenge. I prefer to keep them heart center. Inhale, sweeping back up. Exhaling, crossing at the knee. A little bit quicker. Inhale, knee up. Exhale, extending back to warrior 3, keeping our balance. Keeping our core engaged. Inhale, again, sweeping the knee up. Exhaling, crossing and squatting down. Inhale, knee up. Last one, exhale to warrior 3. Inhaling, knee up. Exhaling, crossing at the ankle. Inhaling, knee up. Exhaling, back to warrior 3. And stepping down into a high lunge, finding your proper alignment. Knee never extending beyond your ankle. Maybe bending the back knee, getting our ribs over our hips. Core engaged. Right knee to the ground, hands to the ground. Inhaling, lifting up through the chest. Breathe here as we really start to feel that right hip flexor. On the next exhale, start to extend backwards into a half split. Inhale, heart opening, hands raise up. Exhale, hands down, back into that half split. Again, inhale, rise up. Exhale, slowly pull your hips back, flexing your front foot. Inhale again, hands up. Exhale, hands down. And moving into a lizard pose, bringing our hands on the inside of both of our feet. For a bit of a challenge, you can keep your knee raised off of the ground, but this is a really difficult pose, so I prefer to keep my knee down on the ground, and I still get plenty out of it. On your next breath, if you feel like it, you can start to lower down onto your forearms to get even deeper into the lizard pose. Keeping here for a couple more breaths, breathing through any tension. Next, inhale, coming back up onto your hands if you lower down. Untucking that back toe, knees together, and pulling back into a nice child's pose. I'm choosing to keep my knees together underneath my ribs because we've already had a lot of work done in our hips. And you can bring your hands to prayer above your head if you want to feel a little bit of stretch behind your triceps. Just taking a couple more breaths here before we move on to the other side, seeing how your body feels different. And on your next breath, we're going to pull our weight forward, plank, knees down, chest, chin. Inhaling, pulling through to cobra. Exhale, pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhaling, stepping forward to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, rolling up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Next, moving on by rising up on the inhale, lifting our left leg this time, finding our balance, core activated. Exhale, sitting down, crossing our ankle over our right leg. Finding that focal point in front of you. Breathing here. And inhaling, standing back up. Exhaling, slowly pushing back into that warrior 3. You can try extending your hands backwards for a little bit of challenge, or again, for even more, hands in front. Or hands at heart center. And again, inhaling, knee up, keeping our balance. Exhaling, crossing at the ankle. Inhaling, standing up. Exhaling, pushing back to warrior 3. Inhaling, moving slowly. Knee up. Exhale, crossing at the ankle. Inhaling, knee up. Exhaling to warrior 3. Inhaling, knee up. Exhale, squatting down one last time. Inhaling. Exhaling, pushing back to warrior 3. And slowly lowering down to that high lunge. Finding your proper alignment again, making sure that our ankle and our knee are in alignment. Bending the back leg, making sure our ribs are over our hips, our chest isn't puffing out. Exhaling, hands down, knee down. Inhaling, rising up through the chest, heart open, really feeling that hip flexor. Exhale, pulling our hips back to a half split, flexing that foot. Inhaling, rising up. Exhale, pulling hips back, flexing that foot. Inhale, rising up. Exhaling, hands down, pulling back, top split. Inhaling, rising up. Exhale, hands down on the inside of the right foot. Slowly preparing ourselves for lizard. Foot at a 45-degree angle. Again, you can have your leg straight or bent beneath you, depending on how much you really want to get into the hips there. I'm still going to keep mine bent. On the next breath, you can lower down to your forearms if you feel comfortable. Really starting to ease into these places that sometimes feel stuck. Breathing here. And on the next inhale, think about rising back up onto your palms if you were lowered down onto your forearms. Stepping back into downward facing dog, pedaling everything out. We're slowly going to make our way to a seated position with your legs in front of us, making sure we can sit straight up, feet flexed, very comfortably, chest lifted, inhaling hands up and hinging from the hips. We're going to slowly lower forward, coming into a seated forward fold. Now the point is to have a straight back. You can have your hands on your thighs, on your shins, or if you're quite flexible, you may be able to just fold forward, grabbing your feet. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Continue to breathe here. If you can't breathe fully, back out a little bit. Inhaling, coming back and facing forward, coming into cow face. We are first going to cross our right leg over our left, and then the possibility of bending at the knee over the left as well. Breathing here, your hands can grab on opposite toes, or you can simply just have your palms in front of you. This is really, really deep stretch in our hips, and we've been working them a lot. So just do what you can. Maybe inhaling and exhaling, folding forward. I can very intensely feel this on both sides of my hips. So if this is a place that you have trouble, practice this pose every day on both sides. Breathing, inhale, coming back up. And for the other side, there's a second way that you can come into this. Coming into your tabletop position, you're going to rise up with the bent knee on your left side, placing it behind your right knee, and as gracefully as you can, trying to sit back. So we've got our left knee behind our right. Inhaling, grabbing your toes, palms in the center of your lap, sitting up straight, and absorbing everything. Inhaling, maybe starting to lean slightly forward. Exhaling. One more inhale. Exhale, folding forward. On the next inhale, walk your hands back up. Slowly start to untangle your legs. Leaning back, forearms on the mat. Outside of your feet on the edges of the mat, and windshield wiper your legs back and forth just to add a little bit of movement back into your hips and legs. A couple more times to the right and the left and the right, and bringing everything back in and lying down on your back. And just getting yourself comfortable as you lie on your back. Kick up your heels towards the ceiling, preparing for happy baby. And there's a couple things that you can do here. You can grab the outer edges of your feet, or if it's more comfortable for you, you can grab the insides of your feet. It's just more about personal preference. If you can't reach your feet, you can grab around your calves, or you can grab your hands around your thighs. Whatever you can do to just pull down into your hips, getting your knees towards your armpits. And if you would also like, you can start to do a gentle rock side to side on your lower back, like a real happy baby. And starting to bring our feet back together towards the ground in Supta Baddha Konasana, a reclined bound angle pose. Placing one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Starting to wind down. Focus on our breathing. Coming back to the center of the self. Filling the belly first. Rising up into the chest. And continue to breathe here. Relax. At this point in the practice, this is where I'm going to leave you. You can stay here as long as you want to focus on your breathing, or you can prepare yourself for Shavasana. But no matter what time of day that you choose to practice this, I just hope you have a really great time and it does you some good. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me and for taking the time for yourself. And whenever you're ready, I'll meet you in the middle of the mat again on another day. Namaste.